Hello everyone, my name is Mark Fayloga and I'm the Director of Digital Engagement in the Office of U.S. Marine Corps Communication. That title is a mouthful, so here's the simple description. For the last 4.5 years, I've led the team responsible for managing the Marine Corps' flagship social media accounts. I'm a frequent speaker at DINFOS. Look, here I am now. Typically, when I brief at DINFOS, I'll bring along this big monster of a brief, and I'll focus on different parts depending on who the audience is. Rather than have you all watch a recorded presentation, which, let's be serious, it's more than an hour long, none of you would watch that, and I don't blame you. So here are what I feel are 3 key takeaways for CMC students. Number 1, dig through the data. One of the greatest things about using social media for communication is how much feedback the programs provide. Digging through Excel sheets might not sound exciting, but understanding your audience and content will only help you improve your communication. I recommend starting by getting to know who your audience is. Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube all provide great back-end tools for looking at data, but here we'll focus on Facebook. Go to Insights. Here they provide an overview, but I want to start by looking at the existing audience. Click People, and right here you'll see who likes your page. So who's actually gone to your page and click like so that they might see your content pop up in their feed. If I'm looking at the Marine Corps, I get the male and female breakdown. I can see our dominant audience here is 18 to 24, followed by 25 to 34. So these are people that have actually liked your page. Once you put your content out there, once you make a post, who are you actually reaching? So you're going to want to click on People Reached to see that. So here I see that 18 to 24 is still our lead with 25 and 34 in there, but it starts to shift a bit older in who actually sees our content. And then you can take it one step further and go, okay, well, once they see our content, who's actually taking action with it? Who's doing something with this content? And there it starts to distribute a little bit more, but still that 18 to 34 range, that's our top audience. That's our key population there. Now that I have an idea of who my audience is, let's look at how our posts are performing. So if you click Posts on the left, you can come in, and what I like to do here is go down and organize it by reach. And this will give you your top performing posts. So which posts have had the most reach. So reach is kind of the starter. That's what we start to focus on when we're talking about, well, what was successful? What reached the most people? It's not necessarily the key for every post. I might not need a lot of reach. Maybe I want to have an action happen instead, but reach is just the general one that we look at. And I'll look in and I'll try and look for commonalities. Like, why are these posts performing well? Like, what do they have in common? Is it the way that they were presented? Is it the way that the video went out? Is it the way that the photo went out? Is it the conversation that we use when we share it? Is it the type of content? So once you go there, try and recognize some patterns in your own posts and see if there are things that you can repeat in the posts that are successful. Or go ahead and organize it the opposite way to look at what's performing the worst and try and go, well, what are we doing? Why are these posts bombing? What's the common thread here? And what is it that we should avoid? Those are the 2 basic things. That's what I would start with here. But really, you could probably spend a whole day getting lost in the data that these pages provide, down to, well, now I know how much of my audience is mobile. What times are they on? What times are they the most active? What actions have we driven? A good thing to do would be to export. I'd go to export post data, and you could break it down by quarter, you could break it down by month, but I would do an entire year, do your previous year, and export out your post data, and it'll give you this massive Excel spreadsheet. But then you can go in and you can start to pull some averages. So like, what is our average reach on a post? That way you know how things perform. So when you report information back up, you could say, this post performed 2 times better than our average post, or this post performed half as well as our average post. Being able to put things into context, you can do that by exporting your data and digging through it. It takes some time, but it's worth doing. Tip number 2 is have a strategy. On our platforms, any post, any tweet, any video we publish has to do one of 3 things. It needs to inform, influence, or entertain. The best posts accomplish all 3. Inform is simple. We want our audience to know X. Influence is when we want our audience to take action. Maybe we need to get active duty Marines to complete a survey for the Energy Office. so we craft content designed to influence them to take that action. The entertain one might seem out of place, but most of our posts fall into this category. If we didn't entertain and engage our audience, then when we tried to do the first two things, we might as well be talking to a wall. Every day our duty checks the trends to see if there's anything we can inject the Marine Corps into, like we did here for National High Five Day. If your office is iffy about doing things differently, then see the first takeaway again. Dig through the data, try new ways of covering content and making posts, then track the success or lack thereof. With our high five video, we weren't doing any true communication, but that post was responsible for 4 times more followers that day than our previous month's average. When you can show that how your posting resonates with the audience, it becomes easier to convince leadership to take chances with new ways of doing things. Tip number 3, shoot for social. You should be capturing content with where it will end up distributed in mind. Is a traditional print, broadcast, or photo set the most effective way to tell the story? For example, when the Commandant of the Marine Corps or other senior leadership testifies on the Hill, we don't send a shooter to document and then release a story afterward. We get more out of having the Marine live tweet the event. With the Marine Corps Marathon, we found we reached 10 times the amount of people with our live coverage on Instagram and Twitter than we were reaching the previous years by sharing traditional coverage. I know a lot of you have small, if not one-person teams, so try and put your people to work on the coverage that will have the most impact. That's it. I wanted to keep it short and sweet. I hope it helped. If you have questions, leave them in the comments, and I'll answer them this week.